Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing today, baby whales, mini dolphins, and tiny little penguins? Have you guys been marching yourselves to safety? We're about to do a live stream on Bitcoin, so let's check her out, guys. I'm feeling fantastic. I'm feeling fantastic right now. This is the triple C combo that I always tell people you should have in the morning. Okay, I always make it's called the triple C combo. This is the key ingredient to success in the morning. Okay, triple C combo. One, you gotta have your coffee. Okay. Two, you gotta have your, coffee, I guess you can call that caffeine as well. And two, you gotta have your cigarette. And the most important part of having a good morning, other than your coffee and your cigarette, and the last C is you gotta have your crack. Okay, gotta make sure you have your coffee, your cigarette, and your crack, because that's probably the best way to start off your morning, right? Wouldn't you guys agree? Oh, sorry, I'm just joking, guys. I'm just entirely joking. Don't ever do crack. It's really not cool whatsoever. I just told that joke to my group chat and they're like, what, Phil? What, Philicon? So let's talk about coin market cap. All right, we're looking pretty good thus far, okay? Like, please don't ever follow those guidelines for the triple C combo. It's not really a good way to start off your morning. So everything is looking kind of neutral right now. Fairly neutral territory. Nothing is on fire except for my favorite coin, EOS. I made a very quick trade on EOS in the morning here, and it was a struggle. Like, it was quite a struggle to make like $100. I was laddering my position. I was playing literally like, I think $60,000 this morning, and I made like $100 on a $60,000 position that I've been just laddering my shorts. I laddered my shorts from like so low, actually, from like 685 almost. So I had to buy an extraordinary amount to break even almost, and just barely. And this is kind of me tanking the market, doing market executions there, just dumping like thousands at a time over here. And then I could have closed my position there, did not close it, added even more, started market executing, and then I started putting up like 10,000 EOS walls just to scare the market, right? So when I was scaring the market enough, they're like, holy crap, there's a $70,000 wall there, we're not gonna break it. So the market got a little bit scared because of my walls, and eventually it went down. Yay! One thing I always tell people is if you guys are leveraging your positions, you kind of have a lot of power if you're leveraging, because you can create these walls, right? And it's not manipulating the market, Weeping Angel. It's just taking advantage of leveraging in the market. So I wouldn't really call it manipulating. Is very different, right? Like when you're pumping and dumping with a group, that can be incredibly different. And Escostar, we're gonna take Elliott wave off the table for a little bit, and we're gonna end up talking about different types of analysis. We have to remember that technical analysis is only as strong as how we use it in conjunction with other types of indicators. And sometimes Elliott wave, it can fail us, but there's so many other ways of analyzing particular structures that we can easily find different ways to succeed in the market. So market cap right now, excuse me, is still fairly neutral. We're at $331 billion. Most coins are in neutral territory except for EOS. Now, as a day trader, I guess Tron as well, if we want to talk about TRX, right? A lot of people are expecting their mainnet release to jump the coin to 20 cents, right, Eric? I know Eric's been accumulating quite a bit as well, and our friend Johnny as well. So, just to give you guys some fundamentals, it's one of the reasons why Tron is on fire right now, right? Tron is doing fairly well. EOS is known as the Ethereum killer. That's what the general public dubs them. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of coins are doing incredibly well. Cardano had its major rise already. That's why it's kind of biting the dust right now. ICX hit some pretty good numbers. Check that out. Big shout out to Leon there. I know he loves his Korean barbecue. Leon's so funny. He had a lot of icon, okay? And then he decided to finally close his position, and he's like, okay, no more of this. And then he closes his position, and then icon does like 20% the next day. So he's driving around in his Lambo Huracan, and he's like, man, I hate Korean barbecues. Icon's nothing but a Korean barbecue. So let's take a look at the 24-hour volume. We might have some time, PK, to check out some other coins at the end here, and I'll try my best to get to a lot of them. Lisa, ohayo gozaimasu. Go genki desu ka? Aishiteru. So let's talk about the 24-hour volume here. I don't have any thoughts right now, Andrea, on ICX because I haven't really done a technical analysis on it yet, but it is part of my to-do list, and I do plan to take a look at it in a few short hours or even days. So you have my word. I'm fairly reliable when it comes to saying that I'll do a technical analysis, so I definitely will try to get that out to the public as well, combined with BNB. BNB and ICX are very high on my to-do list right now. Another thing that's really high on my to-do list is Eric Cho. Heyo! Like I always say, you guys know how Eric Cho and I met, right? I was walking in a park. Yeah, Eric and I, we met because I was walking in a park, and I kid you not, it was literally love at first sight. And I kid you not, when I walked up to him, sparks were flying. It was electrifying. Then Eric fell right to my feet, and I said to myself, damn, I love my new taser. That's why I picked up Eric with my taser. So we were trending very high from about right here. $6.6 billion. We're starting to go on an uptrend because we reached the 7.2 billion mark, but now we're still at a lull. Okay, we're still at a lull where we're slowly declining in volume over time, but it doesn't mean that the market is interested in doing a slow sell-off. They're more so interested in raising the price to reach some specific targets right now, right? I think the market sentiment in general is still fairly bullish right now, or I'd say slightly bullish, not fairly bullish. Okay, so make sure we understand that the market sentiment, we have to understand how the market feels in general by reading Twitter, by checking on Reddit, and just a bunch of different subthreads to get a general vibe of what people are feeling and if they're panicked, right? So if it's slightly bullish, that's a good sign. Now, when the market is in mass panic and fear, that's also a good time to buy. When people are scared, like Warren Buffett said, right? Take advantage of other people's greed and be fearful, right? So that's when you want to take profit. And when you're fearful, or the market is fearful, that's when you want to start getting greedy. So let's close this right here. Now, I want to talk about my February 22nd technical analysis on my old Steemit that I don't have anymore. If you guys ever get this Steemit account, you guys are welcome to have the money, whoever ends up getting it. I personally don't have access to this account anymore, but there's actually a lot of money in it. I think there's 3,000 altogether. Like there's about 700 here to claim, and I haven't claimed any of my positions for a long time, so all the funds have been accumulating. If you guys get access to this account, you guys are welcome to have it. If you don't, if you guys are just welcome to take the money and even give me the account back, I would appreciate that. Actually, if you actually got access to the account, you can take all the money and I will give you the same amount of money that's in there just so you can give me the account back, just to let you know. Zafar, I really appreciate your $2 generous donation there. I'll try to take a look at Neo at the end for you, so please just give me a quick reminder again. But it would be rude to all the viewers to do a technical analysis now in the middle of a Bitcoin one, right? So yeah. So I want to talk about channels. Just as an example, this was during the February 6th uptrend where we literally nailed these targets as well, okay? We were talking about this channel right here that had a potential to break, right? A possible support. If we test channel again, right, it could support here. If we break, we were going to break to a lower region where the swing low was. So every time we have a channel, we always want to make note of probability zones that it could reach if it bounces or breaks. So this is just a very clear example of when channels have actually formed. And now I did an update yesterday, and it was titled Midnight Update, Trending in Channel, Supports Resistances, right? And I mentioned that if we test at 83.50 and support it, we will attempt to break it, right? But we didn't actually fall out of the channel, and instead what we did was we fell to roughly a support region, right? Around, I think it was 82.50 that it fell to, I don't remember. Yeah, it fell to pretty much 82.50 if we look at this right here, right? That is the low, 82.75 or something like that, okay? But we didn't actually get to my target, but it was pretty darn close. And the main key thing was that if we bounced off of this channel, we were going to test $8,600. Now, we didn't actually break it right there, but we actually went to the lower region. So we tested right around here, which was a beautiful thing. If we look at some of our swing low positions over here, that's exactly where we ended up testing it. Notice this cluster of regions right here. So not bad, right? So the way that we look at channels is simple. If they break, we want to consider doing something. So it was very clear that we were trending in some channel right around here, right guys? And I was mentioning specifically that if we broke the 8,900 region, I think it was right around here, 8,900 region, we would end up trending to a lower, of course, we would end up retracing. So because this channel ended up breaking, we actually have a new channel to be working with. And right now, it's a little bit neutral, right? We tried to break out of there, but we simply could not break it with conviction. So that's why I was mentioning we were going to most likely trend to the 8,600 region. Now, yesterday when I went to bed, there was a strong chance for us to bounce off of there. And yes, we definitely 100% bounced off of there, right? Now, your target would have simply been up to there. So if you guys entered a long position right at the channel support, awesome. You would not really cut your losses until you reach a lower region over here, just as an example, right? You would have taken a previous swing low, which was right around these regions. You would have set your stop loss slightly around there. I should have suggested this trade setup actually. And then your risk to reward ratio was fantastic if you targeted around $8,600. Your RR would be roughly 2.35. So for the people that are not familiar with how risk to reward is derived, let me give you guys a very quick rundown, okay? Your risk to reward ratio, RR, is equal to your target price minus entry price, and that is all divided by, actually I'll make this a little bit closer, you can see it, entry price, and that's all divided by, for the people that are familiar with some annotation for mathematics, divided by your entry price minus your stop loss, okay? That is how your risk to reward ratio is derived. Just to give you guys a very quick example. And the people that are unfamiliar with how it is, just as an example, if you're flipping a coin, okay? I'm just going to do a very quick scenario for you guys to understand. Flip a coin at 10 times, right? And if your risk to reward was 2 to 1, right? If you flip the coin 10 times and you're playing like a $1,000 position, with, your buddy says to you, hey, I'm going to flip a coin, and if every time you win, I will pay you twice as much, but every time you lose, you pay me half as much as I would give you. So let's say there's a 50% win, right? 50-50. So out of 5 games, and you can win this, let's say 10% win, right? And 5% loss. That's what your risk to reward ratio of 2 to 1 means. So out of 5 games, right? 5 games at 5 wins at 10%, which is equal to $100 per win, is equal to $500, right? Now 5 losses at $50 is per loss is equal to $250. So your net profit over 10 games is actually equal to $250. This is why, a basic summary of why we focus on risk to reward. We focus on risk to reward because we try to win the marathon. Forget about the sprint. You guys are going to lose some battles, right? Or you're going to lose a few of the battles, but the war is still going on. So as a trader, we try to follow win expectancy formulas to get a gauge of how much we can win over time. And winning over time is much more important than winning the individual trades every time. So every time you guys see a risk to reward ratio of 2 to 1, 3 to 1, you should be interested in taking it. Now, the thing about risk to reward is it takes a little bit of knowledge because we have to understand where our targets were. So if we look at this scenario yesterday, it was very obvious that this risk to reward scenario was very much so in your favor. If you played, why losing if it's bullish long term anyways? Well, I mean, this is short term, right? I mean, you can't really say we're losing right now just because we're downtrending $200. Do you guys want to see what long term is? Long term is on a weekly chart, okay, guys? That is long term right now. Imagine this as the big, solar system or galaxy. And, when we zoom in, like, we're only seeing a tiny, tiny little planet in the universe. Think of it like that, right? So do we really care so much about what's happening in this tiny little planet of ours? Not really. Or the solar system, if we go to a daily? Not really. Or if we actually go directly to the planet itself on Earth? Right now we see a smaller picture, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter whatsoever, right? So that's kind of how I see it when we look at time frames. So let's look at this specific channel that we are in right now. So we broke out of this one, right? We broke out of this one, and it was very clear that we were going to trend, first of all, to roughly these regions over here. And because we couldn't hold there and hit this top of the channel, well, we're going to most likely trend to a lower region right around here, right? And that made entire sense as well to play these regions as the top tier. I call this a top region, like an upper boundary of support. And this would have been a lower boundary of support, right? So it makes entire sense right now based on just trend line analysis and channels that this was going to happen so far. Now, the way that we play this, watch this guys, okay? We need to be able to understand the past so we can focus on the future. Think of it like a relationship, right? If you guys have been in really many bad relationships, you kind of know what to look forward to in the future. I know it's kind of lame to say that, but it's true. If you know exactly how bad or how unhappy you were in some relationships, well, you might actually get a gauge of how to be and what you want in the next relationship, right? I know it's really, really lame to say that, but just think of it like that. So for example, this one was forming a channel as well, okay? This one was evidently forming a channel, and the way that we play channels are very simple. Whenever it breaks outside of a key region, we want to basically short it or long it. So what we want to look for is a break above the channel. So let's say that we ended up breaking up right here. Do you guys notice this one? It's very low volume, right? Very, very low volume. That's the volume right there. This tiny, tiny little one there. That's the volume. And it didn't really, like this one right there where my mouse is on, the volume is very little. But if you actually look at the next one that broke above the channel, what you see is massive volume because the market ends up rallying. And when they rally above a break of a channel, it's a beautiful thing, guys. It can happen quite often, and that's how we end up profiting from it. This one here might have made a very small channel as well. Go to your tool, click on the ones where their lines are, go to parallel channel, click on a point to make a line, and then just draw it again like that, right? So this is just another very clear example of how there's a big green volume or more volume and a big green candle that signifies, hey, let's end up rallying together. So channels are one of my favorite things to play because they're very predictable in the market and we can find them everywhere. And I won't go into too much detail about how they're actually annotated with the WXY, but we can clearly see that, you know, channels can come in bull flags as well, right? And bull flags are one of the best things. So just as this is not a bull flag, but this is a slight channel, right? Or it could have been seen as a bull flag, however. So as soon as it breaks, guys, what you want to do is you want to enter a long position, right? Here as well, this one we were calling it very, very, very well as well. And I think a lot of us took this trade if you guys were following me back in the days there. So what I was mentioning last time was the 100 moving average, right? We're bouncing off of it, we're bouncing off of it, we're bouncing off of it. And we have to see the moving averages as something that converges to a point. And what we see, a lot of people don't see this as a triangle, right? As a triangle here, but I see this as a symmetric triangle if you factor in the widths. So because the 100 moving average is literally sandwiching it into this trend right here, as soon as it broke out of it, we were trending slightly above it, right? Trending, and then big green candle, and you would basically buy into strength. So channels are one of my favorite things to use always. And this one here, I don't think it actually formed a channel. I can't remember if I actually ended up drawing this as a channel or not. But sometimes channels can break down, guys, right? This is not the best channel, but just to give you guys an example of how we can use some supports and resistances with bull trapped regions. So this region right here was clearly a massive bull trap, right? So this was trending in the channel. People probably thought it was going to break out here, but it ended up being a bull trap with a throw over. So as soon as it ends up breaking down over here, actually the thing that a lot of people did was probably realize, oh wow, we can't break outside of this channel. So it comes back down into the channel. So because it tried incredibly hard to break out of the channel and it couldn't, and it trended back down to the channel, that's where a lot of people ended up shorting the market. And that's why we also got this massive downtrend right there. So I hope you guys are gaining some insight on how channels are played. Now let's look at our current structure right here. So we're at this one, guys, and we're getting a series of massive rejections right now. Let's look at the weekly chart to see a really big picture of what's going on right now. The weekly chart right now, it's Friday. We've got 2 more days to go in the week to close the week there. And we're at about not even 2/3 of the volume. So we've got to wonder, why is it so suspect right now? Heron asked a very good question. How do you confirm an uptrend? Basically, what Heron is asking is, what is the best way to identify the bull trap? That's also the same question as asking, what is the best way to confirm an uptrend, right? If you think of it like that, asking that question, how do you see if it's a bull trap, is the same thing as asking how to confirm an uptrend, right? So the way that I confirm my uptrends is I wait for confirmation. Now there are many different types of players. Myself, I'm a breakout player, but depends on my mood. A lot of the times I will just simply buy at the resistance and hope that it's going to go up, but I will set my stop loss super tight. We're talking like 0.5% or even 1% or 2% at most, because I don't mind risking it. I don't mind doing that at all. And then there's the other types of players where we're getting a small wick, okay? We're getting I'm going to go to a small time frame so I can draw it a little bit better. Let's go to a 1 minute chart here. So let's say we have a resistance, right here. This is your massive resistance. And now we're getting some candles, right? Some candles that are trending towards it, right? Like that. This is not considered a breakout. This one right here, okay? This candle is considered a neutral candle because we're now in the exact same position, right? The body is in between the resistance. Now, what could end up happening is, you know, if it breaks out there and people buy it, well, what if it ends up downtrending and this becomes a red channel or red candle, right? And then what if it downtrends even more, right? And it downtrends even more and it just keeps going down and down. So when you're in these types of positions, it's not really good to enter if you're inexperienced. The best thing to do and the best way to look for confirmation is to get an actual close above the resistance with volume that indicates that the market is generally interested. And now the next best indicator after that, or way to gauge it, is this right here. Okay, you guys need to remember this, a wick to the downside, because what this wick, the longer the wick, the better. Okay, so you wait for the body to be maybe in between there, and then you wait for another candle if you want 100% confirmation. Confirmation, Weeping Angel, can be done on any time frame. We have to understand about time frames that it gives us a small and a big picture depending on if you're looking at a high time frame or a low time frame. What we would hope for is a confirmation on a very small time frame that cascades over to a higher time frame. So if the 5-minute chart starts uptrending, you would hope that the 10-minute chart starts uptrending. You would hope that the 30-minute chart uptrends, and it just keeps going on and on. Now, the market psychology of this specific wick right here implies that, okay, we've now broken above it. We now pushed all the way up there, perhaps, or sorry, we broke above it. People realize, wow, we might not actually break above it. So the bears now start taking their profit and they start pushing it down, right? But the bulls have successfully defended it and they pushed it up very high. So this alone right here 100% confirms that we have broken above a key resistance area. It is the wick. The wick is very important. Just to give you guys a very basic idea of on a downtrend, okay, let's go to a 30-minute chart, like something random, okay? Something random. Let's say right here on the breakout, okay? Actually, let's go to like a 1-hour chart. Right here, okay? So we want to use, where's the resistance? The resistance was clearly right there. And this resistance, the white line, now becomes a support. We have to understand that the moving averages also work as a support and as a resistance. Use moving averages all the time. Now, what we see on the downside is we see a lot of rejections with wicks, right, guys? You guys see a lot of rejections with wick to break below. And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Right here, okay? You would want a rejection with a wick. With this one right here, guys, as soon as this candle formed, you should have entered a long position because it implies that the bears have tried to take profit or shorted and to push all the way down. But what happened was the bulls successfully defended and pushed it all the way back up. So then, as soon as this candle forms, that is where you enter your trade, okay? Now, it also goes for the opposite as well on a downtrend, okay? On a downtrend, it goes the exact same thing, guys. we've now trended below it. The bulls have attempted to push it up right here, right, to 86.50 range. But because they could not push it up there, the wick implies, because it's cutting through the resistance of the 100 EMA, that the bulls have tried, but the bears have successfully defended. So as soon as this candle formed right here, it signaled to the market that we're actually going to take a sell-off, right? So yeah, how did you enter the 3 candles without having to click on the menu again? Good question. So there's a tool here. It's called stay in drawing mode. Let's take this off right here. Okay, let's say you take off stay in drawing mode. Every time you draw a line, you can't draw a line again. If you click again, it doesn't matter. You have to click on the line, then you have to draw it. Okay, then when you're done, you have to click on the line and you have to draw it. But what drawing mode does is it stays in it until you right click. So if I click on stay in drawing mode and then I click on my line, I left click and then I left click to draw the line. I left click and I can draw the line again. It saves you a lot of time if you're drawing multiple things. So yeah. So yeah, you guys are welcome to ask as many questions as you want. Like, I've had my coffee, I've had my cigarette. I am in such a good mood today. I've already made $100, you know, which is not really a lot to my standards, but I'm just happy that everything is going really well. I'm hearing so many good things right now about people being successful in the market. You guys have been making a great amount of income. I'm super happy that you guys are doing very well. So let's take a look at this structure right now to do just a kind of a RSI analysis, right? What we're seeing on the daily is a fake out, okay? This is perhaps a fake out right now where we might end up see the crossover on the daily. This is a MACD crossover in the daily, right? But we're not really uptrending an astronomical amount right now. So it's almost scary, right? Phil, how do you move your chart up and down? I can only move it left and right. All right, I'll teach you guys this, okay? When you click on here, you are normally on auto scale. Notice auto scale right here, okay? It's check marked. You can only move it left and right. You can't move it up and down. When I use my mouse wheel to zoom out, this is what happens, right? It adjusts the charts according to the view. But if you actually right click on your chart and then go to lock scale, right? So now the auto scale is unchecked and the lock scale is now checked. Now you can move it up and down freely, like that. You can move it up and down, left and right freely. If you use the mouse wheel to zoom out, it actually zooms out very differently. So just keep it doing it a few times, right? No, I don't really smoke any marijuana. A little bit time to time, but not really a lot whatsoever. So then you can just double click on it, and if you double click on it, it centers it as well. It depends on what I need to do, right? As well. If you guys also have zoomed out really far, you click on this little mode right here called zoom in. Okay, click on zoom in, right? Make sure it's, see right here. Right now it's not highlighted. Click on zoom in. Now you can actually highlight a structure. See the shade it's highlighting right here. Let go of it and it actually zooms into that specific structure. So just in case you don't want to, there's just a lot of different ways so you can view the chart, right? So if I go to auto scale here, it sizes it up accordingly for me. So yeah, it's cool to learn a lot about tips and tricks. If you guys ever draw a line and you want to clone it, just as an example, I know so many tricks for TradingView. If you guys ever want to clone a line, hold down your control key, left click on the line, and you can drag it and it makes copies of it like that, right? Pretty cool, right? That's awesome. Yeah, just hold down control, click on that. If you guys ever want to get a very quick price to see how much it moved, hold down shift. If you hold down shift and then you left click, it brings up a date and a price range tool as well. So yeah, just a bunch of little tips and tricks for you guys. What we're seeing right now on the 6-hour chart is we're seeing a possible small crossover to the downside. But honestly, guys, I do believe that we are going to break the 8,600 range because we're not really down ticking from a very high histogram side. So I'm happy overall with how everything is looking. If we look on a 12-hour chart especially, right, we're definitely seeing bullish signs of our side diverging, which is a good sign as well. Even though it's higher price action, we do see it bullishly diverging, which is a great sign overall in the market. I do believe we are still going to get to the 10,000 range, which is phenomenal. We have broken above some key RSI zones right now already. So if we look on a 6-hour chart, we're getting this candle with a lot of volume with 1 hour to go. This could be seen as an indecision candle, but I personally see it as more of a bullish candle right now. So am I interested in going to a trade? Yes, I certainly am, but it's got to meet my criteria of breaking well above. Now, one of the reasons why I'm cautious right now is because we're trending right by the 55 EMA. We've had a lot of bull trapped regions. Remember right here, we tried to break above the 55 EMA, but we just simply could not break, or sorry, the 100 EMA, and we simply could not break above it. I can't explain it then, but in maybe a little bit later in the video, I would like to finish this TA up first of all, just so we can take questions and answers at the end there. Are you guys liking how professional I am? Yeah, being much more professional, because Eric Cho and we are looking for somebody, okay? If you guys don't know, we're fairly successful traders, okay? And I guess you can say like we've done fairly well in the market, and we're looking to add one person to our team, and only one person. And in the past 4 months, we've actually only added one person. If you guys don't know him, go check it out. We've actually screened him. We've put him through an interview process as well, and he disclosed his you know, how big his position is and stuff like that. And we're looking for someone who can actually who has a decent bankroll, put it that way. We want to groom somebody who has a good amount of money so we can develop them and mentor them. Leon's a pretty awesome guy. He's got a few cars, he's got a Lambo, he's got a few Porsches, he's got a Ferrari as well. And he's an awesome guy in New York, so he's somebody that we're going to be grooming. You guys should definitely give him a follow, because you'll be hearing a lot more from him. And in the next 6 months, we're looking to add one more person to our team only. That's it. It's going to be one of the most premium teams right in cryptocurrency, and you guys will make your money back in probably less than a few weeks or a month, I'm guessing. And we're accepting we're gonna put these people through an interview process. Actually, it's gonna be public as well. I'll be interviewing them, or one of us will be on my YouTube as well, and they've got to fit a lot of different criterias. And the membership fee is $50,000, and you guys will have access to Roderick as well, and basically anytime question and answer, where we will be advising you guys anytime. So I'm very serious about that as well now, guys. We've talked about it. It's a $50,000 membership fee, and there's going to be an interview process as well. And this is going to be for free financial advice anytime. You will have access to our premium chat group. Our premium chat group just consists of just us. That's it. That is simply it right now, okay? So we just basically talk about a bunch of things in our group chat. There's only 5 of us in it. There's me, Leon, Eric, Johnny, and also the Big Ched. And we talk about numbers all the time in our Twitter group chat. And we always we basically work as a team to figure out when to buy, and we argue points. We say, if is this a bad price to buy at? Is this a good price? We talk about risk to reward, and not really many of us lose money. You know, not even Roderick loses money. So yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up there, and I'll bring it up every so often over the next few days, but it's not something I'm going to be pushing, put it that way. We're not doing this for money. 50K to us as a group is really not much at all, and 50K to very serious traders is also not much as well, right? So in a way, this is a very good I guess product, if you think of it like that. So anyways, the reason why I'm hesitant to enter a trade right now is because I'm seeing rejection at the 55 EMA. Now, if we actually break above this 55 EMA, which is right here at the 8,600 level, basically right around here, right? This is the cluster region that we need to break. If I go to a lower time frame, it is very clear to the majority of the public that this right here is offering a lot of resistance in this area, right guys? Because it's first of all a channel that's forming, okay? It's this channel that's forming, and we're at the peak of it already. So of course we're gonna get some sort of hesitation here in the market, because we're reaching a lot of critical regions that it simply just cannot break through. So will it actually end up failing right here, right? Will end up failing on the 1 hour candle right now. It's actually got some rejections here already. So we have to make sure we make note of that. If that actually ends up failing, the next region that it will most likely fall to is anywhere between these regions here, right? I'd say more so these regions here for now, because we have to test these specific swing low structures on the previous side. And then if that entirely fails, of course, we're going to end up trending back down to perhaps here. But what we want to do is see how far this retraces. Will it actually retrace and form higher highs and higher lows? So I'm looking to wait to see if it's going to retrace to, 85, 50 region, and then eventually just break out. Will it bounce above the 55 EMA? But my key criteria to be entering a trade basically is get out of this channel. And that's something that I would highly recommend for people to keep an eye on as well. We got some clear resistance and supports right now at this channel. So if it breaks out, guys, we could be targeting at least the swing high positions, right? I mean, the next logical target, if we break out of it, would most likely be the previous high of 9,000. So if we break out of it, let's say like, I don't know, 8,700 or something with a lot of volume and it's very evident, and of course your target would be something like $9,150, and then you set your stop loss for slightly below here, maybe 8,500, and you've got yourself a chance to gain 5% and a chance to lose roughly 2.5%. So this is kind of my big play that I'm waiting for. But if we end up leveling off right here, right, leveling off, and there's clear signs of support, we got a lot of rejection to the downside, we have a lot of volume that's confirming a trend there that's supporting it, this might be a reasonable place to enter as well. Now some really risky people would even enter a trade like that to get like a 1.8 risk to reward. Then there's also some other people who are waiting to enter on a lower barrier. So a lot of people are talking about entering around these ranges, right? This range right here is about 8,000 to, around here. So if I let's assume that this is somehow the entire wave one structure, then, we take a lower barrier right here and we say to ourselves, all right, well, this could possibly be a very decent support zone right here, okay? Around the 79.84 to 82.13 range, basically between the 0.5 and the 0.618 Fibonacci level. So this could be a very relevant support as well, where we just end up bouncing above it a few more times. So we got to make sure that we're extremely patient with how we play. But I do see a lot of great risk to reward setups right now, but what I don't see right now is a very good time to enter it in this specific moment of time. You guys need to make sure that you understand it's all about extreme patience. And with extreme patience, we're going to be able to find these these low risk, high probability setups. So if we break out of here, very rational area for us to target is roughly the high zone up there again, based on risk to reward. So that's kind of it. My technical analysis summarized is if we break above, for example, $8,700, we've got a really good chance to trend up to around where the previous high was, at least 91.70-ish. But if we don't break it, I'm first of all looking for right here, okay? Looking for right here between 85, 85.50 range, see if it bounces off of here, right? And if it doesn't, then I'm probably going to end up taking a Fibonacci region of here. And let's just see if that's going to bounce, right? Will it bounce off of the 618 fib level? Will algos kick in? Will the market, will the general public actually be very interested in it as well? Will they buy at the 618 fib level? If we are finding heavy support at the 618 fib level of this particular wave, that's go time as well. Now, if that doesn't hold, then we simply just fall back to these lower regions. So we make sure that we understand that there's many different possible plays. The longer we trend up here, the more likely we are to possibly break it, right? So usually there's a steep drop when we get up there, right? Here we trended, but there's a steep drop. So it could happen either way, but I personally believe that the longer we end up trending in this region, the higher of a chance that we have to break it. And yes, someone mentioned that it could be a bull trap. So yeah, I think I'm done my technical analysis. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'm going to take some questions and answers to see Elliott Wave. I'm throwing out the window, man. Elliott Wave already failed. Sometimes, you can't what I recommend to people is don't always stick to your guns, right? Don't always stick to one method of analysis. I mean, it's a very difficult count. In fact, there is no count from what I can see. I mean, we have so many failed structures along the way that some people have basically said that this is possibly actually not that right there. Like, this is possibly the wave count right here. TD says it's completing ABC of 2. Yeah, okay, it could be completing it, but where's actually wave 3? There's really no wave 3 whatsoever in here right now, right? So if I were to try to draw 5 wave structures, I cannot get a 5 wave structure. I've tried this one, but it's not proportional, right? The 5th wave there sucks. Some people have actually implied that this is now wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going up, but we're not happy with this specific structure right here with the 5th wave. That's an incredibly ugly wave. So a lot of people don't like it like that at all. Now, if we zoomed in to a different time frame, right, what people have said as well is this could possibly be the count. Regardless of the count up there, some people have basically implied that that's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is now making our ABC going upwards like this right there. And this made our 5 wave coming down, which completes the entire structure. So this is definitely a very, very viable count right there. So that's now in 100% finished our entire ABC correction coming down. That makes A, that makes B, that makes C right here. And I'll draw this on a different time frame. I'll make this yellow, and there we go. See, notice how it fits the criteria very well, right? The wave 4 ends up hitting the wave 1 resistance perfectly. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the rules of indifference of Elliott wave, wave 2 retraces heavily to the 786. Therefore, the wave 4 coming down will probably do a 236 level. That confirms it as well, which makes our waves down. This makes a 3-wave structure as well. That pretty much did an exact extension, I believe, or 786. Nope, this one hit, yeah, around the 786 to 100 fib extension right there. Okay, and we also use this as a wave territory right there. Wave 4 is hitting the territory of wave 1 again, just like how wave 4 hit the territory of wave 1 here. By the rules of indifference of Elliott wave, we see that wave 2 barely retraced to the 236 level. Therefore, we assume that wave 4 will actually retrace much more to a 786 roughly. And sure, it hits the mark exactly there as well. So by the rules of Elliott wave, and regardless of what this crappy structure is, okay? Regardless of what crappy structure this is, whether it's, you know, an actual leading first wave diagonal or something, if we called it like a leading wave diagonal like that, right? It could very well be it right here, okay? It could very well be waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we're just going to have to accept, right? And if we look at our Elliott wave, I'm gonna try to draw Elliott wave leading first wave diagonal, okay? Let's see if I can actually pull some photos up here to show you guys. So just to give you guys an example, leading first wave diagonal, a lot of the times, right? A lot of the times, this was in an A pattern, but whatever. A lot of the times, the 3rd wave could actually be smaller than the 1st wave, as long as the 5th wave is shorter than the 3rd wave, because Elliott wave says that it's often the longest and never the shortest. But if we zoom into a very micro time frame, it's really crappy, this count, and I'm not happy with it, but it's the only thing that I could really deduce, in my opinion, if we look at it on a low time frame, where that would have to be wave 1, that would have to be wave 2-ish. The wave 4 retraces heavily into the wave 1 territory, but only by a wick, and then we get our 5th wave. So it's basically saying that the 3rd wave was very impulsively moving upwards, and if we broke it down even more according to Elliott wave, then most likely this would just be waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then we can easily get a 5-wave count in here as well, just based on what I see. So this could be simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't want to break it down too much because it's very time consuming, but because you guys are bringing up Elliott wave, and I'm an Elliott wave-tician, so this could very well be the count as well. That makes sense, right? The only way for us to make sense of this is to draw it the most probable way and the highest probability of something making sense. And unfortunately, that's the best way to see it, where we're trending down to the 382 region, which happens about 12% of the time. And I believe the 0.5 happens about 32, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, 32 or 28% there. I don't remember. Stephen H. said, thanks for the constant updates, Miss Mama Whale. What are you thinking will be your next few plays? All right, well, I'll go over that again since you might have missed it, right? So my next few plays is basically waiting for Bitcoin to break above 8,700. And if it breaks above 8,700, we're going to be in very good shape. Then the reason for that is because we have right now a channel. Thank you very much, Stephen, by the way. I appreciate the donation there. And I'll get to your question as well there, Mr. Crypto Teddy Bear. Hey, Phil, if you take the line from the top of 9178 to the bottom of 8270, inside this wave, you have an ABC with ending fifth wave, wave C. All right, so we're talking about right here, okay, ending fifth wave in diagonal, you have wave C. So we're talking about it from 90, the top there, to 8280, we have wave C. Yeah, that's what you're talking about, right, Crypto Teddy Bear? Thank you for reminding me. Are you talking about the ABC? Yeah, if you're talking about the ABC, that's exactly what we're talking about here as well. And this one here, I don't know if it really made an ending fifth wave diagonal, right? Because it didn't really fit the criteria of it. I'd say it more so made like a flat, right? It more so made, actually, yeah, you're right. You can call that, you can partially call that, even though it only hit 2 points. I'm not a fan of it like that, of calling it that, because I prefer my ending fifth wave diagonals to, you know, nail some targets like this, right? Where wave 1 hits it, 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. That's more of the traditional definition. So this one is more like a very weird shape, but definitely you can call it that as well. Absolutely. Good eye, Crypto Teddy Bear. Well played, man. If you're learning a lot more about Elliott waves now, it really makes me happy to hear about people who are doing well. So right here, we got some rejections, right? At the 55 EMA and the 100 EMA. But if you look on the 45-minute chart, what we're trying to really do is break well above this right here. So if I were to clear everything up right now, okay? If I were to just clear everything up and I take a look at my targets, if this actually does end up uptrending, well, our targets are really clear, guys, okay? Our targets are incredibly clear. Thank you very much, Aqua. I can't pronounce your name there. I don't want to butcher it. Wonder if it's still a good idea to set and obey stop loss even in cash trade. I usually do, but sometimes after a while, I notice I would have gained it if I held. Well, yes, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to go over this really well with you guys. I'm going to go over my EOS trade. My EOS trade yesterday, do you guys remember my live trade? I made $250, okay? I made 250 bucks because I could have held and made a lot more money, right? Actually, no. That was a very bad example for me to make. Where did I lose my $600? Right here. I entered a short position right here, okay? I entered a short position right here, and I said to myself that if we break above right here, I'm gonna cut my loss, okay? This is where my stop loss was. I entered around there. And then I said to myself, I'm gonna target roughly down there, but because it actually broke up to right there, I actually took like a big loss. It was a $600 to $800 loss. And then I saw it downtrend, right? I saw it simply downtrend after, and I said to myself, I could have easily just held and I could have made myself $3,000. That's what I said. But because I got stopped out, I'm more happy to be stopped out than to say to myself that if I held, I could have made my money back. That is a very bad mentality to take, guys, to say to yourself, if I had held, I would have made my money back. For example, if you held, or if you close your position and the market actually started going your way, even though you got stopped out, you say to yourself, if I held, I would have made money. That's a really bad mentality to take, guys, because it changes up the way you approach your risk to reward and your stop loss. Now, I assure you that every few times that if you did hold, it's definitely going to go in your favor and you would have made your money back. But the majority of the times, it will not go in your favor. So it's very important for you to exercise strict discipline. So please never ever say, if I had held instead, I would have made my money back. You have these specific risk to reward setups and stop losses because you need to manage and minimize your loss, right? You minimize your losses and you maximize your top line revenue and your profits. So you have to know how to preserve your capital. You have to know how to protect your capital so you can grow your capital. You never want to get into the position of saying, damn it, I should have held, because you guys have all been there. I've been there where I've been liquidated so many times at the beginning of my trading career, where my $10,000 account at the like 3 years ago, it's simply diminished to a $3,000 account because I kept saying, if I had held, if I had held, if I had held. But now I will never ever get liquidated in my margin account, right? Not because I can transfer money over, but because I stick to my strict stop loss so much. And we have to understand that it's all about risk to reward and understanding that it's a marathon. It's never ever, okay guys, a little sprint. If you guys hold your positions, if you are a trader, you guys are gonna get wrecked in the market. Is it going up right now? Is it over 87? Whoa! EOS got rejected so hard! Like, EOS, guys, this, like, that would have been me if I wasn't in this video right now. EOS, this would have been me. I would have been the guy laddering here. I would have been laddering like crazy up there, right? Just creating a series of ladders. And then I would have eventually slammed like a 10,000 EOS wall to scare the market. And I would have driven it slowly down. So if I had caught this, think about it, guys. This is at 706 and it went down to 695. If you're playing a 5,000 EOS position and it moved like 15 cents, right? That's literally $750 profit on a 1 minute time frame. I would have been the guy that destroyed people here in the market. You don't want to play against me, guys. Like, trust me, you don't want to play against me sometimes. Think of it like an Asian guy who's playing a video game, right? It can be very scary to play against good players, and you just simply never know. Yeah, so, okay, someone asked me, how do I use the EMA? Well, you gotta watch all my videos first, Nadav. I've made a lot of different videos, okay? I've made so many videos, and I'm not really a fan of answering a lot of questions where I've spent the majority of time making these videos for you. But if you guys would like to know, you need to go to my Steemit. Okay, you need to go to my Steemit page right here, and you need to watch all of these videos, because as much as I would like to explain it to you in a 5-minute time frame, it just makes a lot more sense for you guys to go to my tutorials, right? I mean, I've got videos right here. Swing trading advanced 55 EMA strategy. So that's one as well. I've even made a more advanced one as well. I forgot where it is, but it's a much more advanced swing trading one. Right here, lesson 12 and lesson 16, advanced 55 EMA strategy with time frames. So that's exactly what you're asking, right, Nadav? How do I use it with time frames? So it would definitely be in your best interest to take a look at this. Okay. Why did I delete it? Because I swore a lot in it, to be quite honest. Okay, I swore a lot in it, Corn, and I got really, really pissed off in a lot of it, and I didn't feel that it was professional enough for me to keep it in there. So that's one of the reasons why I deleted it. So I'm just looking at the questions here to see if any of them are interesting. You know what, guys? In terms of books, who cares about what books I've read? Just just Google, type in a bunch of books, and just buy them all. Or find like a, you know, like a version of it in PDF or something like that. It's kind of like asking if you guys are studying engineering, right? Can you only read one engineering book and you're going to become a well-versed engineer? No, you want to read many different books to be well-rounded, right? So you want to read like the majority of all the popular books. I would just recommend going to Amazon and just typing in a bunch of trading books or to see what's popular. And that's probably the best way to do it. Okay, someone's asking about Litecoin. Let's take a look at Litecoin. Are you gonna break this mother effing resistance? Okay, I gotta renew my TradingView. It's due today. TradingView is awesome, guys. You can get 6 charts on here at once. It's pretty awesome to me. So here's my Litecoin, right? Let's see if we're gonna break this. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Are you talking about this one right there? This resistance, maybe, right? But we're seeing a lot more rejection to the upside than anything. I think that we need to see a massive one up here like that, where it's going to break. But I still believe this is on a non-log scale. If you go to a log scale, oh, actually, hold on. I'm looking at it on a 30-minute chart, that's why. So on the short term, yeah, great. If we break this one right here, we got a chance to rally to 177, I believe. I think that was my target. Yeah, 175 was my target. If we break it, if Bitcoin goes to its 9,100 rally, it would be awesome. We'll probably end up rallying to 7,500. But if we, then after we break that, the next key resistance is around, got to go to my log scale here. Just got to get it a little bit more accurate. From all the way back. Right, we go all the way back right here, and what we see is a very critical resistance area, like around the 182, 185 range, right? So it's kind of around there, the target, 182 for Litecoin. No, hey Bruno, good question. Do you care about the Ichimoku cloud? I personally don't care about it. I don't even know how to use Ichimoku cloud. I'm not going to pretend that I know how to use it very well because I specialize in RSI, I specialize in MACD, I specialize in price action, Elliott wave, and reading level 2 momentum. So I know a lot of people that have had very good success with Ichimoku clouds, with Bollinger Bands, but it's just simply not for me. Yeah, so I'm not going to look at Verge, Soleil. I'm not going to look at Verge because I hold a lot of Verge right now. How many do I hold right now? I don't remember. That's kind of one of my coins where I just hold and forget it. I think I'm holding, I don't know, maybe like 500,000 Verge. I think 500, maybe a million. I can't remember how many Verge. No, not a million. Oh, hold on, I gotta do the math really quickly. Yeah, I'm only holding 500,000. It's very little. Yeah, so I'm hoping for it to get to a very decent price. If it got to like you know, $1 or something. I'm holding SIA. Yeah, SIA, I'm hoping for it to get to $1 like in a year or two. So that's a good coin as well. Oh, NEO, that's right. Let's take a look at NEO. NEO has been one of those coins that's been biting the dust because of Charlie Lee's previous tweet and the gas issue and the NEO node consensus issue as well, where some of them were giving different it wasn't reaching a consensus, put it that way. Okay, so just NEO very quickly in a nutshell, we're getting a large range, guys, like a huge range, you know, from 720 to $6. Like, we're talking about a range that's about, you know, 18% in a day. So in a way, it's good that the volume is picking up again, right? We found some very clear support around here, which was fairly evident it was going to bounce. NEO found support, I think, at the 618 fib level, or sorry, the 786 fib level. Yeah, it found support right there. So that was a really, really crazy good time to buy. I just personally didn't have the opportunity to tweet about it. And then we got some sort of slope trend line support, right? And now what we're doing with NEO is we broke out of it, okay? We broke out of this massive trend line support, or sorry, resistance right here, right? Absolutely, I can try to talk about it in just a minute here, Crypto Deal. I've got your question pinned over here. So guys, as soon as we break out of a very critical resistance, you want to target a bounce, okay? The market wills it to break out of the resistance, right? And then when it does, the market takes profit when it breaks high enough, and then it tends to bounce off of a critical resistance that now becomes a support. So you'd always want to adopt that strategy and just assume that it's going to happen. If you are consistently assuming things like that, you could have easily got in like around the 620 mark again, and you'd be up a stupid amount already, like 12% up. That's just over the past few days already as well. So NEO's looking really good, in my opinion. We've broken out of this key resistance already. You know, it's actually really easy Elliott wave count, I believe, as well. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4. It's making its final fifth wave attempt right here to go up, in my opinion. If Bitcoin ends up rallying to the 9,000 range, we could easily see a possible break as well to the upside. We're using this as a key resistance. So just based on basic Fibonacci extensions, this probably ended up hitting 78.6 already. Wow, 78.6, didn't even need to guess. So I think that a very good play for NEO is to be cautious, right? Is to be cautious. If you break above right here, you know, very short-term play above this previous high of 725, you know, that's a very good trade to take. Very super low short-term, right? Target your 100 extension, because we go by the rule that Elliott wave says wave 3 is often the longest and never the shortest. So is that a really good trade to take, right? If we're following all these simple rules just at a glance, absolutely, that's a wonderful trade to take with a risk to reward ratio of 3 to 1. So now we take a look at the Elliott wave. We'd say that's wave 1, that's wave 2, that's wave 3. This one will most likely try to bounce to this region because we see a lot of activity right over here. Because we see a lot of activity, there's no way in heck it's going to retrace way back into this region unless a failure happens. So if that wave 3 could easily hit a 1-to-1 extension, if or when Bitcoin actually ends up, hold on, I'm looking at EOS. Oh my god! That's not NEO! I'm counting on you guys to actually tell me what coin I'm looking at, okay? Unbelievable. You guys are horrible. I have a group chat open because I'm counting on you guys to help me figure out what coin I'm doing, okay? Unbelievable, guys. You're horrible. So EOS is looking really good, okay? It's looking really good right now. NEO sucks, okay? I was wondering why NEO is sucking right now, right? Or I was wondering why NEO is doing so good. I'm like, there's no way that NEO is doing this good right now, all right? NEO sucks. Neil's, I'm sorry to say that it sucks right now, but it's definitely biting the dust heavily right now. So when I was doing that TA, I was like, why the heck is Neil's doing so good? And then as soon as I saw this resistance here, guys, okay, as soon as I saw this resistance, right, I'm like, what the heck? Neil's not at $7 right now. Okay, Neil's not at $7, and I've actually switched up my chart a few days ago. Okay, Neil was up here and EOS was right here, so I completely forgot. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, Neil's having, Charlie Lee tweeted crap about it, right? So it's just looking brutal right now. I will gladly go to Hawaii one day, or Tokyo, but first I'm going to Thailand. I want to go visit my friend Mel. I'm dying to go hang out with her right now. Yeah, I want to go see Mel first, and then who knows? She might actually come back with me here to Canada, and we're gonna tour Canada because I can work from anywhere. So that's kind of the goal right now. There's a lot of touring to do. I might stay in Thailand for like 3 months, and I'm gonna ask her to come to Canada with me so we can just tour, and travel. That's gonna be quite awesome. Man, guys. I meant to take a look at Neil. Neil's biting the dust right now. Like, it's probably the worst coin in terms of progression. We're about to get to Death Cross in a few days. Like, everything is just looking so bearish right now. I mean, we barely uptrended compared to other coins right now. If this was the channel that it ended up going up in, right? I'm sorry to say that's like, it's not a coin that I'm interested in right now. I believe in Neil long term. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I said tour. I meant to say travel, okay, Penkills? I meant to say travel. I've already been to Tokyo. I'm not really interested in going back to Japan. I get way too drunk in Japan. Like, I like to drink there a lot. I was in Tokyo. Yeah, I shouldn't go back there again. But Thailand's on my to-go list, right? So if we take our Fibonacci right here, and we take our Fibonacci, we simply just want to buy. But you want to ladder your buys around the previous swing low structures over here, right? To the 0.5 to the 0.6 regions right there. So that's what you wanted to do to play a bounce, because as soon as Bitcoin reached its support range right there, it would have been a very good signal for people to buy. But Neil right now, it's got some major resistances and hurdles to overcome. So we take a look at, am I on Neil? Yes, I'm on Neil right now, just making sure. If you guys are going to do technical analysis, I really recommend that you guys do it on the right coin first of all, okay? Make sure you're doing it on the right coin, because if you're on the wrong coin, you just waste yourself a lot of time, guys, and you don't want to do that. That whole mistake that I made earlier when I was doing technical analysis on EOS, it was actually just a very detailed and elaborate plot to show you guys what the importance is of doing technical analysis on the right coin is, right? So I was just showing you guys by example, by making a mistake on purpose, okay? Just so you guys know that that was the ultimate goal. Sometimes you got to make mistakes so you can let other people learn from your examples that you're setting. So I knew that I was actually on EOS, okay? I knew I was on EOS, just to be clear. I was just trying to let you guys know once again that it's really important that you know which technical analysis you're doing and on which coin, okay? So we're in the same spot, guys. Like, Neil needs to break above $70, right? It needs to really clear about $70 to get to some reasonable outside of this channel. And if it does break $70, like, it's dying in volume right now. But if Bitcoin does end up rallying to, you know, 9,175, 9,200 range, hey, well, proportionally, Neo's also got a, I was gonna say Leon's got a coin there, because if you spell Leon, right, if you spell Leon, L-E-O-N, right, it looks like Neo. So I don't know how I got Leon and Neo mixed up there, but Leon is like Neo without an L in it and the E and the O backwards, so that was kind of funny. So Neo, maybe it's got a chance to get up there, right? So if it breaks above $70 and well above the 55 EMA, you know, a reasonable target would be there, risk to reward, but it's kind of like risky in my opinion as well. Maybe even $69, depends on what your tolerance is for pain. But I'm not really a big fan of it because it's just not impulsively recovering like how other coins are right now, right? So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents on Neo. Not really a fan of it. But if you guys notice that every single chart is kind of do the same thing, right? In terms of channel there, channel here, no really difference. If Oprah was here, she'd be like, channel for you, channels for everybody. She'd be giving out channels like they were going out of style. But don't get me wrong, Neil, I still believe in it very long term, guys. I absolutely still believe in it long term. When the bull market does, or if it recovers, we gotta understand that Neil was at $200 before, right? So it was really awesome. Yeah, pretty much, right? Pretty much. TD sequential says that we're getting a whatever. I don't know what count we're on, 9 or something, depending on the time frame. But the best way to look at this right now is, you know, there's no way to look at it that's what waves 1, that's wave 2, and we're going to somewhere wave 3. If Bitcoin does get to the $10,000 range, we will most likely, you know, see Bitcoin, we will most likely see this guy get to at least $93, $94, but that's much longer term, right? Just doing a 1-to-1 extension there. So yeah, I'm going to kind of call it. Oh, of course, David. My Excel spreadsheet is insane. If you guys ever saw it before, it's got like low risk, it's got high risk. I've got a risk index on there. I've got tons of calculators for risk analysis as well on there. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna call it, guys. It's been over an hour. I really appreciate all the love and the support. This is the first time I've ever done a professional technical analysis where I haven't been really talking about immature things. I'm gonna go pat myself on the back there. I'm gonna go pat myself on the back there and, you know, just be super proud of being professional for once. So thank you very much, guys, for all the love and the support. I really appreciate you guys. If you guys want to support me and do it in a free way, you're welcome to simply just click on the upvote button on Steemit. If you guys definitely want to let me know I'm doing a fantastic job, I'm accepting a minimum donation of 482 Bitcoin to the addresses provided below on my Steemit and on my YouTube. So if you guys are going to actually donate cryptocurrency, please don't be cheap and actually donate at least 482 Bitcoin, okay? If you guys are going to donate less than 482 Bitcoin, don't even bother, okay? Like, don't be cheap bastards and give me only like 1 Bitcoin, okay? No, I'm just kidding. If you guys ever wanted to say thank you, you buy me a cup of coffee, you buy me a small lunch with crypto, and that is it, and that's what makes me feel really good. But don't ever donate something like freaking $200-300. That's just absurd, okay? So thank you very much for all your time and for all the love and for all the support, and I will catch you guys sometimes in the afternoon. No, it was 482 Bitcoin, Marcel, not 479, okay? 482. And guys, don't forget, if you guys have a ridiculous amount of capital and your principal is large and you have no idea whatsoever how to trade cryptocurrency and you would like to learn and you want to join basically one of the most premium, not one of the most premium trade group in all of Twitter and for crypto, contact me. Our premium membership is $50,000 and we are only accepting 1 person because we want to give you all of our time, energy, and support so we can mentor you into a very good trader. So have yourselves a fantastic day and thank you very much for joining.